time to cut off all communication with the outside world. Dust off your old VCR and gather your collection of mixtapes.
Then tease those bangs, put on your favorite pair of leg warmers. The nostalgia bug has bitten, and we're here to scratch the itch.
I'm Odell.
I'm Erin.
It's time to go back where we belong. Howdy, kids. Where are we? We're
going back to the summer of 1995.
So just a few months before when we did 7, right?
Yes.
Right. Do you know where you were?
So.
Or what you were doing?
I do. This was a rough summer. This was my boyfriend at the time was going to be going off to college. And I was so depressed that he was leaving. And it lasted most of the year. But then, almost a year after he left. But then remember, he's the one who showed up in his yellow, riding outfit to one of my rehearsals. And it was the banana, so embarrassing. And I had to break up with him. So obviously didn't destroy me too much. But this was also the time when he first got to college. He wrote me a very detailed letter of what he would like to do to me in the boudoir. And he didn't see, because he was kind of a sweet little idiot. He didn't seal it properly, Odell. And our postman, who had been my postman since I was 2 years old, it fell out and he looked at it, which is illegal, Mr. Postman.
Right. That's what I was going to say.
Some laws were broken in this situation. He looked at it, gave it to Pete, my stepfather. Pete read it, gave it to my mother. And then my mother, of course, read it, called me downstairs to have me read it in front of her and admit that I lost my virginity. No, thank God. Thank God. I didn't have to read it out loud because I never would have gotten through it. But it was like a 6-page, very pornographic letter.
Wow.
And and terrible grammar. And it was like a badly written porno. It was terrible.
It's like 50 Shades of Grey.
It was like a 50 Shades of Grey or a Chad Daybell kind of porno. It was dumb. And I read it and I looked at my mom. I just started crying. And that's when I had to admit to my mom that I was no longer a virgin. That's horrifying.
Right.
That is so mortifying. It was, so 95 was not a red letter, like summer or fall. It was terrible. Terrible. Yeah. All my mom asked me was, are you safe? Please tell me you're using condoms. And I was like, yes. She didn't ask me when I lost it, which was a Sunday on the day of the Lord at 10 in the morning before we saw Grease on stage. That's when I lost it. But thank God she didn't ask for those details. But now she knows.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what I was doing, but I do remember going to see this movie. So I was in Idaho this summer. That was the summer I went home for that summer. One summer I went back to my aunt's in Oregon. The other, I went back to Idaho. Don't remember the specifics, but I do remember seeing this movie with my cousin Jennifer and my sister because we went for my sister's birthday, which was just a few days after this released.
Okay.
So don't have the details of what exactly I was doing like you do, because my mom doesn't go
Your
back
family wasn't finding out that you hadn't been hitting it.
Nope.
For a while.
Nope. So
that's
definitely was in Idaho this summer, though. That's all I remember.
I do remember seeing this movie, which of course is Clueless. I remember seeing this movie in the theater quite a few times, mainly because of her outfits. Not gonna lie, those outfits were killer.
If I remember correctly, I saw it in Idaho, and then when I got back to college, I feel like it circled back through the Dollar Theater or something. And I think some of my friends and I went and saw it at the Dollar Theater too when I came back through.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So what was going on?
Well, this was released.
1995.
This was released July 19th, to be exact.
Mm-hmm.
Now, so looking at a few weeks before that, Jerry Garcia, Grateful Dead, unexpectedly played his final concert July 9th.
Did I ever tell you my Jerry Garcia story?
You have a Jerry Garcia story?
Yeah, not specifically. Like, I didn't do anything with Jerry Garcia. I never.
Oh my God. I was like, why haven't I heard this? Go on.
I think it was the next summer. When did he die?
That, I think that 1995, did he not? I mean, it was his last concert. I assumed it stopped because of his death.
Okay.
Garcia death. I'm looking this up real quick. He died August 9th, 1995.
Okay.
So just a couple months later.
So my friends and I had a party, a disco party. Must have been this summer when I went back to Corvallis. We got really, really, really drunk.
Okay.
I did a strip tease for my friends.
Of course.
On a box in their living room. But then we all got
Did
really
you
drunk.
Strip off clothes, or was it like
I took off clothes?
hooker?
I took off clothes. Like, I took off my shirt, and I dropped my pants, had my boxers on, dropped my pants, the music stops, and I look up and there were cops at the door because we were being really loud, and the neighbors had called a noise complaint. And the cops saw me standing there with my pants around my ankles. But then later, my friend Layla and I were sitting in the kitchen at this house. We were drunk, like so drunk. We had made margaritas. We had made a cake and soaked it in like peppermint schnapps. So, I mean, we were drunk. But the neighbor's dog came over to the house, and we kidnapped the dog. And Layla was convinced that the dog was possessed with the spirit of Jerry Garcia. And we had to keep the dog. She was a little high as well. We had to keep the dog safe. And the neighbors came over looking for their dog. And we're like in the kitchen with the dog. No one else knew we had the dog.
Oh my gosh, Odell.
So then everyone else at the party goes out looking for the neighbor's dog. And Layla and I are sitting in the house having a conversation with Jerry Garcia, the dog.
Odell.
And then we realized, as we started to sober up, holy shit, everyone in the neighborhood is out looking for this dog at 2 a.m. So we went out the back door, and then we came out. We're like, we found.
Oh my God. Were you deemed a hero?
Of course.
You're drunk and high ass. Oh my gosh. It's horrible. That is horrible. I love the thought of you stripping, though. That is a beautiful thing to imagine. Damn it.
So what else was happening in the world?
Well, let's hear your Enrique Iglesias story next.
Don't have one of those.
Oh, he released his first album called Enrique on July 12th.
Is that the one that had Bayamos or whatever that song is?
Bayamos. There's a reason to teach you love Bayamos. I don't know if it is. I think so. Because, I mean, I don't think he had been out very long before he had it. Like a hit, because it's Enrique Iglesias. Barack Obama also released his. I did not realize it was this early. He released the memoir "Dreams of My Father" in 1995. I
didn't even know he existed back then.
I know. I'm shocked. I had to double check that because I was like, "Are they sure they don't mean like 2005?" Right. But he was president not that much later. I mean, just over 10 years, and he was, a great writer and getting involved in politics, and so he was a lawyer then, wasn't he?
I think so.
Anyway, so that's when the memoir came out. There was also a historical heat wave that hit South Central and Southeast Wisconsin. There were 82 deaths that were directly related to the heat wave.
Damn.
Which is crazy. When they considered the humidity, I mean, the actual temperature was 100 to 105, but with the humidity, they said it was between 120 and 128.
Shit.
And in Wisconsin, they don't have central heating. You mean
central AC?
Central AC, thank you. They don't have that. And so they were saying that it was so stifling that at night it would only get down to like upper 80s. Like it would not cool off enough at night for people to handle the heat the next day. That sounds horrible. And it lasted, I think, like almost a week, something like that.
Damn.
Anyway, so those were the things that were kind of going on around the country those few weeks before. Now, the top 10 songs, and this is the week ending
22nd, right?
I think the 20th, actually, because I think this released on a Thursday.
I thought it was released on a Wednesday.
Oh, no, you're right. It was the 22nd that this goes through. So number 10 was Run Around by Blues Traveler. Number 9, you don't remember that song?
Vaguely.
Things up and all like this slow me down. That's the harmonica. Then there was Scream /
Janet and Michael Jackson.
Janet and Michael. Boombastic by Shaggy.
Remember that one?
I Can Love You Like That by All for One.
Remember that?
Have you ever really loved a woman?
Hated that song.
Bryan Adams. I know you did. Cracks me up. This makes me angry. Total Eclipse of the Heart, but done by Nikki French.
Yes, the dance remix or whatever.
Yeah, not okay, Nikki. Yeah. Water Runs Dry by Boys to Men. Don't Take It Personal by Monica. One More Chance by Notorious B.I.G. And number 1, the classic, amazing, We Do It in the Band, and yes, I even rap, Waterfalls by TLC. I seen a rainbow yesterday, but too many storms have come and gone, leaving the trace of not one God-given rate. So good. So we get to pick songs.
Yes, we do.
I did pick one. So for the movie, I picked one, and I feel like it was the only one you could pick from the movie because it's so freaking fantastic. And it's one of my favorite parts.
All right.
Rolling with My Homies.
Love it.
By Coolio.
Yep.
Rolling with the homies.
You almost have to.
You have to. Absolutely.
So I looked through the top 40. I didn't find anything that I liked that I would want to.
This was a hard one.
The playlist. So I'm choosing something from the movie as well.
Oh, what do you choose?
I'm choosing Supermodel by Jill Sobule.
Love it.
When they do the remake of Ty.
Yes, that is a great song. I did as my other one. I went between 2 because it was the only 2 that I enjoyed on that top 40 list. I found that I didn't know a whole lot of them. I did not enjoy the music once the like smooth jazz started coming in with Boys to Men and All for One and all of that. I didn't enjoy that at all. I didn't care about Monica or Brandy. I love Notorious B.I.G. So I was waiting for, like, we'd kind of gotten away from the singer-songwriter thing that we had in the early 90s. And the grunge and the rock, like it just all of a sudden became very
stale,
right? However, and I don't think we have this on our list. I actually looked through our Spotify list.
Okay.
I picked Waterfalls.
I'm looking at this.
Don't tell me
we don't have it on.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
That is what I want, because that song, let me tell you, when we do that in the band, everyone is up on their feet. Everyone is singing along with it. Like, you cannot help. It is, God, I love that song. I love that song, and make sure it's the one with the rap, because then they did a radio edit that didn't have the rap. And the song's dumb. You have to have Left Eye do the rap. So that's what I picked.
This Is How We Do It by Montel Jordan. But
this is how we do it.
I figure if we ever come back to 1995, I might need to keep that one in my back pocket to pull it out.
I'm keeping Kiss from a Rose, the pedophile song, as my children call it. I am keeping that in my back pocket.
Your back?
In my back, in my butt, where I'm keeping Kiss from a Rose. Okay, so I think those are good additions. So I was looking up just like random shit.
Okay.
Here's the top 10 food trends. of 1995. Didn't even know that was a thing. But every single one of these, I was like, oh my gosh, yes. Okay. Rice Krispies Treats cereal.
Vaguely remember that.
Okay. Pillsbury Toaster Strudel. It's my oldest favorite breakfast. Ugh, it's disgusting. Lunchables.
How many Lunchables did I live on in college?
That solved everything. And you felt like you were eating healthy.
God, who knew ridiculous. The sodium intake was so high?
Oh, Keebler Fudge Stripes. Those were damn good.
Yeah, I remember those.
Jello cakes. I don't remember doing any sort of Jello cake. Garlic soup.
Really?
I feel like I would love it because of my love for garlic, but at the same time, do I want that much garlic? I don't know. Blank steak became very popular.
Really?
Yes. Dunkaroos. Do you remember those?
Weren't they the little sticks?
Yes, I think so.
The kangaroo on the cover on the
package.
I think so.
Yeah. Yes.
And you dunked them in like frosting, right? They're just cookies that you dunked in frosting. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. And then we got the addition of the blue M&M.
Oh.
Yes. This was 1995. That changed the game of baseball, of M&M baseball. Did you ever play M&M baseball?
No.
Oh my God, it's so much fun. But I remember when the red came along and I was like, oh, this changes everything. Because if you pulled out a green, that was a home run. Yellow was a single. Orange was a double. Now we made blue a triple. Red was a grand slam. Brown was a strikeout. It's so much fun to play. I will still play. I can't eat M&Ms without playing that game.
I have never heard of it.
I don't know who made it up, if it was even really a thing. Or if it was just something my brother made out of boredom. I don't know. Most popular male baby name. Do you know what it was? Can you guess?
Aiden.
No. It's not even popular, but
I don't know.
No. Oh my, you're naming ones that aren't even on the list. Michael will forever be the most popular. I think that's on every single list every year. Michael, then Matthew, Christopher, and Jacob. Do you know the top one girl?
For 95?
95. So this is before
Friends, because that's
before
when
Friends. That's when Emma came out. Yes, it's before that episode.
Taylor.
No, and actually this surprised me because I was like, how very 80s. Jessica.
Weird.
And then Ashley. That is very 80s. And then Emily and Samantha.
Okay.
In our fashion trends, we had crop tops, platform shoes, animal prints, faux fur, velvet. Oh, but yes. Windbreakers and denim. Like the best thing you could wear, though, was the ruffle skirts. This is for the lady. Well, I guess for the boys, too. The ruffle skirts that came with a matching tie or jacket. Very much Cher's iconic yellow outfit. Is very much that, you know. The Academy Awards that year. Now, these were for movies in 94, but the ones that won in 95 during it was Forrest Gump, which means Tom Hanks. Robert Zemeckis won for director, and then Jessica Lange won for Best Actress in Blue Sky, which I don't think I've ever seen.
I don't even know that I know that name.
I know.
That movie.
Now, here's where you might be interested, Odell, because this is when .com officially began in 1995. The computer world started changing big time in 95. The most popular web destinations were Alta Vista, Excite, GeoCities, Hotwired, which I remember that, Lycos, Mr. Showbiz, Pathfinder, Suck.com, Webcrawler, and then the big one, Yahoo, was started.
Oh, really? Where was Netscape and all of that?
Netscape was not there. Not in 95. Internet Explorer 1.0 came out August 16th.
Okay.
And then 2.0 came out in November. Like that's when that's when they started coming out so quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the total number of internet users in the world was about 16 million, which is less than 1% of the global population.
Wow.
In America, 14% of the population used the web.
Yeah, I don't think I've figured out the web until about this time, because we were on email and we had chat, but it was all like you had to type different keystrokes in order to chat to people.
Yes.
And it was a chat room.
Yes.
And then something came out where you could tell, like you /T and then type the person's name to tell them something private. But if you mistyped their name, you didn't know. Like it, because it didn't give you an error. So it's either went to the wrong person, someone in the internet, or they just didn't get it. And so you'd think, oh, I guess you don't want to talk to me anymore.
Interested.
Okay, bye.
That's cool. Yeah, exactly. I started really getting into it late 97, early 98, where you could go into the chat rooms and you could chat privately.
Yeah,
like there was
AOL came along and you could actually see, you had the GUI where you could see who you were chatting to. You didn't have to type the /. You could just double click the person's name and have a little chat going with them.
Yep. That's when I really got into it. Amazon.com opened for business on July 15th, 95.
Wow.
eBay started on August 4th, 95.
Really? I never discovered those until I was in Texas, like late 90s.
No, I did not discover 2000s. Those. And then on November 24th, the HTML 2.0 standard was introduced.
Okay.
Now, so that's, I wanted to bring up the computer stuff because 95 is really when, holy crap, like using it for more social things became very popular.
Right.
Sweet Valley High, number 117 dropped. Now, I know I stopped at 104. This dropped in August of 95.
Yeah, didn't we cover Jessica the Genius already?
Did we? Maybe that's why it sounded familiar.
You know, I wonder if they dropped like one of their special editions this month.
I didn't see it. Oh, but wait a second.
Because the website that I've been looking at doesn't have the special editions. It just has the regular books. Because we had so many special editions.
Oh my God, the special editions.
And then the double editions. And then we had the legacy.
We had, okay, I'm looking real quick. We did not have any super editions. Oh, wait. We did have a super thriller. 2 super thrillers that opened one super thriller, July 1st, 1995, A Killer on Board.
I have that book. I haven't read it.
Do you? Convicted murderer John Marin is back. His one goal, to kill Jessica and Elizabeth Wakefield. Using his cunning and ingenuity, he has escaped from jail and is stalking the California coast in search of his prey. Thinking Marin is safely behind bars, Ned Wakefield takes his family on an island vacation.
Dun, dun, dun.
Killer on board. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I've got to start looking. I don't pay as much attention to the super editions.
When there's been a lull like in that gap, then I figure, because that they release them every single month for so many years.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh, I loved the super editions. I loved the sagas. That was my favorite. Like when they would go back 4 generations of the Wakefields.
And they were all
the Wakefields
same,
were such a prestigious family.
Right. That they came all the way from Northern California to Southern California on a wagon train.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did, Odell. And I remember I did read, because I had stopped once they hit 100. So I'm not sure what year that was. However, I did read number 6 of the Magna editions called Return of the Evil Twin.
I think I have that one too.
Oh, it was so good. So good. I wonder when I did stop because I got to 104. So I stopped March of 1994.
Was Love and Death in London?
Yep. That was the last.
Oh, you stopped right before Date with a Werewolf and Beware the Wolfman.
Damn it. I didn't know. But see, number 100 was my favorite, The Evil Twin. Margot. Oh my God. It was so fucking, I got to read that one again. That's when they said my favorite line. I saw you flick your butt into the bushes. Odell. Classic literature. All right. So that's what was happening around 1995 in the summer. Very computer oriented. We're at the height of the 90s fashion. Clueless definitely did, took that a long way and to an extreme with their fashion, which was amazing.
Mm-hmm. Right. We ready for a break?
We are ready. Shallow, rich, and socially successful Cher is at the top of her Beverly Hills High School's pecking scale. Seeing herself as a matchmaker, Cher first coaxes two teachers into dating each other. Emboldened by her success, she decides to give hopelessly klutzy new student Ty a makeover. When Ty becomes more popular than she is, Cher realizes that her disapproving ex-stepbrother was right about how misguided she was and falls for him.
Yes, she did.
Yeah, she did. Now, this is a retelling of Jane Austen's novel, Emma. Mm-hmm. Have you ever read that book?
No.
I haven't either, but now I really want to.
Yeah, I don't think I read any Jane Austen.
I don't think I did either. Did she write Wuthering Heights? No, that was Bronte. That's right. Yeah, I don't think, because the other big one that she wrote was Pride and Prejudice, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those were her big ones. Yeah, I would like to read Emma. I mean, if it's anything like Clueless, it sounds quite charming.
Mm-hmm. Because didn't they do a movie version of Emma with Gwyneth Paltrow?
They did.
Yeah, never watched it.
I never saw it. So in this one, going into this week, it was released on July 19th, 1995. So going into this week, here's the top 10. Okay. And number 10, we had Judge Dredd. Was that Sylvester Stallone?
Yeah, never saw it.
Me either. We had the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Never saw it.
Batman Forever.
Did see that.
First Night. Bat Nipples, exactly. First Night.
Wasn't that Richard Gere?
That was Richard Gere, yes. I think he played Lancelot in it.
He did. And the lady with the dark hair, she's really pretty.
It was the girl from, wasn't it the girl from Robin Hood?
Miriam Margolyes?
Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio.
Oh, something. Miriam, maybe. Mastrantonio or whatever.
Yes. The Indian in the Cupboard. Don't know it. Pocahontas.
Did see that.
Poker hot ass is more like it. Species. Under Siege 2, Dark Territory.
Never saw it.
9 Months. That was the Hugh Grant, Julianne Moore.
Okay.
And number 1 was a fantastic movie that has held up all these years, and that is Apollo 13.
I don't know if I ever watched that.
Oh my gosh. I watched it not all that long ago and with the girls, and the girls were shocked that was made back in 1995. They were like, it looks so good.
Houston, We Have a Problem?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh my God. Tom Hanks and Kevin Bacon and Gary Sinise and Bill Paxton. One of the best things he ever did. And Ed Harris.
You're forgetting Twister.
I'm not forgetting Twister, actually, Odell. I am leaving out Weird Science, though. That was the best thing he ever did. But yeah, this was when hot Ed Harris. Okay. Gorgeous, which I still think he's gorgeous. I love Ed Harris so much. So this movie when it came out, it knocked Apollo 13 out of the number one spot. It debuted at number one. The budget was $12 million to make. And on that first week, it grossed $23 million. So this was a very successful movie. Mm-hmm. Rotten Tomatoes gave it 81% critic score. And this is shocking. 76% audience score.
It's all those nerd boys who come on there and are threatened by female-led movies.
Yes, that is what it is. Because I could not make any sense of that. Rarely do you see the audience for a movie like this. Mm-hmm. Rarely do you see an audience score that's lower than the critic score. Mm-hmm. That to me is very weird, especially on something like this. The consensus said, a funny and clever reshaping of Emma, Clueless offers a soft satire that pokes as much fun at teen films as it does at the Beverly Hills glitterati. Now, I think personally with this movie, Alicia Silverstone was so perfectly cast and is gorgeous and so charming and has like a certain level of naivete that is not annoying at all.
Right.
I find her perfect in this movie.
Yeah, the whole time I watched it, I was like, why didn't she take off?
I feel the exact same way.
Had a few movies right after this, and then she just went into, it feels like obscurity. And she's just done minor things.
Yeah.
Since then.
She was amazing in this. Mm-hmm. And then, she had the Aerosmith videos like right around this time. Right. She kind of capitalized.
Debuted in The Crush.
Oh, I remember that one.
Haven't seen that in years.
Oh, I haven't
and then
either.
She was in the Aerosmith videos and then Clueless. And then she did there was the one Excess Baggage or whatever, where she was a rich girl who hid in the trunk of Benicio del Toro or whatever.
Oh, okay.
He stole the car and she played Batgirl.
Yes.
And
I think she just made poor choices, honestly. I don't think she had a very good agent or, I think that was, didn't she do one of the, what was the Drew Barrymore, Poison Ivy?
I don't know. Alyssa Milano did one of those. I think she was in Poison Ivy too.
I feel but you know what? Maybe I'm actually thinking of The Crush. That's probably what I'm thinking of. Mm-hmm. God, I need to watch that movie again.
Yeah. I was thinking of The Crush and Fear.
Yes, that was
Fear
Reese
Witherspoon and Marky Mark and Alyssa Milano.
Oh, yeah. Alyssa Milano is still drop dead gorgeous and does not look a day older than she did when she played in Who's the Boss. She looks amazing. So when this was released, we also had Free Willy 2, The Adventure Home.
He jumped back over the seawall.
Back over the wall. Yes. Love it. So then the cast in this, we had Alicia Silverstone as Cher. Mm-hmm. Stacey Dash was Dion. I love that they're named after like Dionne Warwick.
I used Cher to love Stacey Dash, but now she's like
crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, so disappointing. Weirdo. Brittany Murphy, rest in power, girl, was Ty.
Love her.
So sad when she passed. Paul Rudd, who looks better now than he did then. And he was so cute then. He played Josh, the stepbrother. Then we had one of the people I think is so freaking funny, Donald. How do you say his last name? Faison.
I think it's Faison. Yeah.
Faison. He played Murray.
He was in Scrubs, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Which I never watched, but every appearance I've seen him in, he is hysterical. I love him. Then we had Elisa Donovan as Amber, Breckin Meyer, who I loved as Travis.
Yep.
Jeremy Sisto played Elton.
Ooh, he needs to sit on my face.
Oh, you would so let him teabag you. Dan Hedaya was Mel Horowitz, Cher's dad. Then we had I love the appearance of Wallace Shawn, Inconceivable as Mr. Wendell Hall. And then Justin Walker was Christian.
You know what I caught?
Huh?
When she says Mr. Hall is 47, I'm like, he is 47. He looks like 61.
I know. Well, I'm telling you, like
back then
on the other podcast, we talk about how much older stars would look. Like even you going back to the 40s, 30s, and 40s, it's like, you are not 28 years old. You are 53. Like there's no doubt. Whereas now I see a star and I'm like, wait, they're that old? I thought they were like 23 and turns out they're 35. Like it's the polar opposite. It's so weird.
Yeah.
So yeah, this was written and directed by Amy Heckerling. So this movie was a dream scenario for me at this age. I mean, I was 16 turning 17 years old. So I wasn't Cher, but I was the same age, like around the same age that Cher was.
Right.
And what I would have given for that rotating closet where you plug in like outfits and stuff and it gives you a picture of what. Come on. Does that really exist?
I don't think so.
It was beautiful.
I mean, not back then.
I assumed everyone
now
had
you
it.
can find apps that will help you pick clothes.
I need to do that. Her style was amazing. Some of my favorite parts. I really don't feel like we have to go through the synopsis of them. I mean, it's Emma. It's a movie I feel like we've all watched or like, the big lines as if, of course they're all now leaving. Whatever. Yes.
Loser.
Doing the W, like all of that was from this movie. It was so iconic at the time.
Solid. Like, do me a solid.
Yes. Do me a solid. All of it was so iconic at the time. It was like a perfect capture of the 90s, the mid 90s specifically. Yeah. Okay. So, another line. I am totally bugging. I love, one of my favorite lines is Ty, like the big burn. Do you remember her
You're
big
a virgin
burn?
who can't drive.
Yes. You're a virgin who can't drive. And she says it in like that Northeastern accent.
Yep.
Yeah, this whole thing is incredible. How do you feel about Ty's makeover? Do you think that was successful? I mean, obviously it was successful, but do you think she looked as like Beverly Hills, I guess, as Dion and Cher?
I feel like she fit in, but like in her own way.
Yeah.
But really all they did was took her hair out of a ponytail and put some clothes on her that weren't flannels and jeans, so it wasn't like one of those extreme makeovers. Like it was like a glow up versus a full makeover like we saw in so many other movies.
Yes. I also love the line. So, Cher is a virgin in this. And one thing she says is that she's not prude. She's just highly selective.
Yes.
Which I always loved that line. I think that's pretty hysterical for when people are like, in fact, I literally just said that line the other night because my friend was really upset. She was like, I think that maybe I'm just too picky. Maybe my standards are high. And I was like, I think that you're just highly selective. And that's something that I feel like we all need. We need that person who's going to hold us up. Another famous line, he's kind of a Baldwin. Baldwin brothers were huge in the 90s. Yeah. Even Stephen Baldwin was not a psycho the way he is now. He was not some religious fanatic.
Right.
He was doing movies like the classic Threesome. Which I watched so many times.
Yes. Yes. I loved that movie.
Oh my gosh. So good. What are some of your favorite lines from this one?
I think you covered them. My favorite is you're a virgin who can't drive.
Yes.
I think my favorite scene is when they're at was it a frat party or whatever? And Ty walks in and she's like waving and then she falls down the stairs.
Yes. I love that. I love when she's hit by the shoe that like knocks her out. I love Ty in this movie when she's like, oh my God, you talk like you're grown-ups. That was hysterical. She freaking cracks me up in this movie.
So I wrote down, imagine you have to get rid of one friend, Ty or Dion. Who are you getting rid of?
Oh, see, I feel like getting rid of Ty, I would just hurt feelings. Getting rid of Dion, someone would have it out for me. Do I protect myself or someone else? That's really the question here, Odell.
Yeah.
At that age, I'm definitely protecting myself. Now I would protect someone else. I would want Ty in my friend group now. Back then, I mean, I told you in junior high, I found out I was on a hit list. And I found out my best friend was number one. And I told her we could not be friends anymore, that I could not associate. I totally left her in the dust. I'm sorry, Bonnie. Totally left her in the dust. I feel like at that age, I would have absolutely left Ty.
Yeah.
Which makes me sad.
Ty provides so much comedy.
She does.
But then it's like Dion and Cher were tight. Like they were inseparable. So I feel like to put a rift there would have just been like an earthquake that would have had ripple effects.
Yes. You would have completely sacrificed your status. Any dirty...
A war would have erupted.
It would have erupted. All of your dirty laundry would have been for everybody. It would have been nasty. And I don't think that Cher was the type of person to air anyone's dirty laundry. I think she was very sweet. No. I think she probably would have gone with Ty, except Ty turned into a bitch.
She did there for a minute. I was thinking about this movie and then another one that came out in the early 2000s, which is also a classic, Mean Girls.
Mm-hmm.
And for the longest time, I kind of held them at the same level, but I feel like Clueless is a little bit elevated because it's not mean. There are some, it's not super catty. Like there's some Clueless phrases that they use, but like Mean Girls is so fucking catty and mean.
It's straight up mean.
Right. Where this one I feel like is more classy.
Yeah. Isn't that weird to say that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This is a lot more, it is much classier.
Mm-hmm.
Classier. Yeah. It is much classier, I feel. And it's not, all of the characters are so likable in this. Like even Dion cracks me up when she's like, hello, there was a stop sign. And that's another famous one. I totally paused.
Mm-hmm.
I love when she's like, oh, sorry, should I leave a note? When she's doing her driver's test.
And my doctor said I can't be involved in any activities where balls are flying at my face. And there goes your social life.
It's so good. Amber's the only one who's really like, oh, she annoying. Is a nightmare of a person. But
who did you dress like?
I think I kind of dressed more like Ty after the makeover. I feel. Mm-hmm. I was never, whenever I wore my friend Jenny's outfits, I was Cher.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely was much more preppy than anything else.
See, back then I was in college, so I was a cross between Breckenmeyer and Paul Rudd.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. I can
more
totally
flannel.
See that.
We're up here. Pacific Northwest flannel was like, I mean, we're in Kurt Cobain land up here.
Yeah. So. Yeah. That makes sense. I would get a flannel to wear ironically. That was when I was dressing down. If I was in a flannel, but then I'd be in a really tight tank top underneath the flannel and like really, like jeans and stuff. And then it would be like an oversized flannel.
Right.
So I was Zapper. I was extremely preppy. My children are so disappointed in me. They're just like, especially my younger one who belongs in the Pacific Northwest, who would fit in perfectly up there.
Yeah.
And wears her baggy pants and her flannels and, she's a 90s child and her winged, eyeliner or whatever. She would have fit in back then. I was definitely on the preppy side of it.
Which girl were you? Ty, Cher, Dion, or Amber?
I was not Amber. I was not Cher. It'd be a
See,
cross
I
between
feel
Dion
like
and
you're
Ty.
Cher because you will talk your way out of
That is
anything.
very
You
true.
will convince people to go along with you. Like you will talk until everyone's like just worn down. Like, okay, fine, Erin, we're gonna fucking do this. Whatever.
No, you're right. You are very right about that. No, yeah, I am Cher. Who are you? You're Ty.
I'm Ty.
You're totally Ty. This all makes sense. This all makes a lot of sense. Now, did you feel icky at all about her getting on her ex-stepbrother?
Kind of, but kind of not. Because like at first it's like he's your stepbrother. What I really wasn't sure was how long were they
those
siblings?
married?
Like
Yes.
before the parents divorced, how long have they actually lived together?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the fact that it sounds like he wasn't living there and he had just come back for a visit, but then you feel like, well, you were close enough that you came back for a visit. So,
and when did you go to, did he go to Beverly Hills High? How old was Cher when he started living there?
Right.
Yeah. That when I say it out loud like that, like the ex stepbrother, then it's gross.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, when watching it, it's Paul Rudd.
Mm-hmm.
So I was okay with that.
Yeah.
But I also come from like my grandmother tried to set me up with my cousin because we weren't related by blood. So I guess he was a step cousin.
Okay.
But she was always like, you two can get married. Oh, that would be so wonderful. And I was like, no.
No.
Well, no. Gross.
Right.
So I knew that, like, I mean, technically they don't share blood. So of course they can, but I'm like you with when did this start? Because I think of my stepbrothers as brothers. Those are not step because I met them when I was 4 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So when did this? And do we know? We don't know how long they were married or anything.
No. And that's my question. Like, if you spent like from, 5 years old to 14 years old with this person, they've only been gone for a year or two. That feels weird.
That is really weird.
But if it was like your parents were married for a couple of years when you were like 10, that's different.
Yes. Especially if you were like, if he was, I mean, let's say even end of junior high and he was first 2 years of college.
Mm-hmm.
Like he wasn't there. That's fine, But yeah, I'm like you. Were y'all children together? Because that's gross. That's
and
disgusting.
How much older was he than her? Because I mean, he was in college. She's a junior in high school.
So I assume he's like maybe he was 3 or 4 years.
Yeah. But what's the statute of limitations? Because he's obviously over 18. She's not. Or not statute of limitations, but like the age of consent is what I meant to say.
I will say I've done a lot of research on this. Yeah, she can still, I guess, charge him with something depending on the statute. But I know with a lot of states, if you are 17 or 18 and you have consent from a parent, you can go up to like 2 to 3 years older, but not much more than that. So it would still, 17. No, I'm lying. Depending on what the age of consent is in that state, if you're like 2 years younger than that, you can get consent for up to like 3 years older. Something like that. So if you're 16, if your parents consent, you could be with a 19-year-old.
Got it.
But I don't know. I guess depending on the age of consent, like you can be with anyone. Like in Texas, it was 17. So I knew at 17 years old, man, I could go out and hump any 50-year-old I wanted to. And I did. No, I didn't. I didn't hump any 50-year-olds.
Do you feel like Cher did Ty dirty though? Because Ty was all for Josh.
Oh,
she had a thing for him. And then all of a sudden Cher was like, no, I want Josh.
I don't think Cher. No, I don't think she did her dirty.
Really?
I don't know. Because it's not like Josh wanted Ty. at all.
That's true.
You know? And it's not like Ty really wanted Josh.
No, she wanted to get to know him better, though. And it wasn't until Cher didn't really, it wasn't until Ty said, I'm interested in Josh, that she was like, well, wait a minute. I want Josh. So I was like, girl,
that's true. But did Cher know that she really liked Travis, that was the one she related to the most?
Well, I think she knew from the beginning because she told her you can't be with him because he's a stoner.
Right.
I mean, granted, Ty and Travis work better together.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, maybe with some girl code. I don't know. In that situation, it's really because then there's this weird girl code queen bee type of thing when Cher's the one who gave her the makeover.
That's true.
You know? Because then it's like, well, no, I get first dibs. So that's a weird, girl dynamics are weird in high school.
Yeah.
I think that's why I'm like, well, no, Cher's not in the wrong. Like, she gets first dibs. She gave her the makeover. So sorry, bitch, you can go get my leftovers. Yeah. I don't know. That's a really good. So you think she did her dirty?
A little bit.
Huh.
Because she didn't really sit down and talk to her. You know, she's just kind of like, well, wait, no, I want Josh. And then she pursued Josh herself.
This is true. I liked having, this is something I think we should add. We should have, like when she is talking about using SAT words and like, okay, we're going to try to work this into a sentence today.
Mm-hmm.
And then Josh was like, oh, I'll see you around. And Ty goes, I hope not sporadically. It kind of makes me want to like every day, let's get a word that we can squeeze in there somewhere.
Yeah, have your dictionary or your calendar of the day with a word on it.
I don't. Do you?
There are apps that have like word of the day.
I'm going to start doing that. I'm going to send you a text every day using the word correctly.
Okay.
That is what's going to happen. Oh my gosh. I wish I could find, you know what? Here's what we're going to do. We're going to do the word of the day today.
Okay.
Okay. The word of the day is perennial. Do you know what that means?
No. Well, I mean, kind of. Like if someone said it, it would make sense. But like if you ask me to define it, there are so many words like that. Do you find that too? Like
yes.
You can use it in a sentence, but then when someone says, well, what does that word mean? I can't tell you the specific definition of one particular word.
Yes.
But I can make it make sense
having
in a
that
sentence.
With the word like visceral. Oh, I had a visceral reaction. And then you asked to define, like one of my daughters was like, wait, what does that mean? And I was like, I mean, like, you know, a deep rooted, like a primal reaction. Like I couldn't, it was so difficult to explain all of a sudden.
But you can't define the word itself.
I'm like, just infer. You know what I'm saying? Well, this one means it is used to describe things that exist or continue in the same way or state for a long time, as well as things that happen again and again. So there you go. You can also use it in botany. I don't know how we're going to do that. It describes plants whose life cycles are more than 2 years long. So like oregano is perennial.
Yeah. My lavender is perennial.
Okay. See, there you go. Can you say I have some perennial lavender, y'all? It's an adjective.
Okay.
So perennial.
Like my loathing for certain people that's ongoing would be perennial.
Yes.
Right.
Oh, I like that. Okay.
I have to frame it in a way that you would understand.
I know that totally makes sense to you. My love for my children is perennial.
There you go. My perennial love for my children.
I have perennial love for my children.
Mm-hmm.
That was so fun. Oh my gosh. Feel smarter. Feel like Ty, getting smarter every day.
So we take a break.
Yes.
And then come back. All right.
Yes.
I love how I say, should we take a break and then come back, or are we just going to end?
No, I think we should just stop altogether. Now, one thing that happens in this movie that I do want to point out, I mean, well, we all find out Christian is gay, but there are little clues throughout it that he's gay. So first of all,
yes, but go ahead and then I'll.
Okay. Well, he's introduced standing in front of a sign that says end discrimination. When he calls Cher, he's at a museum standing in front of a painting of two men embracing in the background. The films they watch were Some Like It Hot, which is about two men dressing as women. And then Spartacus, on the scene where a Roman emperor is trying to seduce his male servant. So Laurence Olivier trying to seduce Tony Curtis. Laurence Olivier, who was famously bisexual.
Right.
Funny that Tony Curtis stars in both of those movies. And then he's also reading the book Junkie by William S. Burroughs, who did have homosexual desires. So those like little tiny things,
right?
You know, kind of give you clues to it if you were really looking for something. Were you surprised to find out, like I just remember when he looked at the guy, and I remember at the time being like, oh.
Yeah, I wasn't surprised when I saw the movie, but watching it again, the cliche.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Well, he
Good
does dress better than me. He's a friend of Dorothy. You know, he's like the things they use was so, I mean, that's how you talked in the 90s, but today it's like, seriously, that's so cliche. Like there can be something more to that, but
it was extremely cliche, extremely, which even now, like with that type of movie, I'm okay with the cliche.
Yeah. Well, it fit for the time.
It did. It fit perfectly for the time. Like we say all the time on this.
Either.
No, not at all.
Like it was still respectful. It was just cliche.
And there was no drama with it. Like it was just, you know.
Like, oh, that makes sense. And then we carry on.
Yes.
But what I did notice is we don't see much of him after that. Like Cher just kind of drops him. Like she didn't even keep him around as a friend, really.
Did she though?
I mean, he's not really around.
No,
they go to the mall, they
save
Ty, and then he's not around anymore. It's like, well, I'm done with you. Because you're not.
That's interesting. But I feel like Cher, of course, would have the gay best friend.
I know, which
I mean, because she just kind of like, you know, it would be no big deal to her at all.
I feel like, well, keep going because we're going to do the ending. So alternate ending.
Oh, interesting. Okay. What was your favorite outfit?
I liked Ty, the maroon thing that she wore with a checker. Didn't she have like...
Oh, yes.
When she first made her appearance at school with the maroon skirts and the tights and the ringlets. And...
That's right. That was, you mean after the makeover? Yeah, that was super cute. Of course, the iconic yellow outfit. It's just amazing. But I loved her little red one when she was getting Miss Geist her coffee and stuff. Like when it was like the red plaid skirt and the white like striped shirt and then the red headband and it was just, God, I wanted all of her outfits, all of them. Now, the first line of this movie was, so, okay, you're probably thinking, is this like a Noxema commercial or what? That was our first. Our last line.
Because it starts with what I loved is it starts with a very 80s montage with 90s.
Yes. Yeah. The last line was, it's in the bag, which she says to Josh when he's like, we have a bet going on who's going to catch the bouquet.
Right.
And she's like, it's in the bag. This is at the wedding of Miss Geist and Mr. Hall. So speaking of that ending, do you have an alternate ending for this movie?
So it's not so much an alternate ending. What I would have liked to have seen was Cher and Christian become friends, and he's part of her friend group then.
Okay.
And shares like breaking boundaries because even though they're not dating,
right,
he let him into her friend group and like she's accepting of someone who is gay and made him feel comfortable. And
that would be nice to see it be a little more progressive.
mm-hmm.
I wonder how that all goes down in Emma. If that's like
I don't
the
know.
exact kind of situation,
mm-hmm.
or if this was written in by Amy Heckerling, or if it was a different, like someone at a different social level. I don't know. I have no idea about that movie.
I know.
Or
I
that
should have
book.
watched it. Yeah.
I would like to read that book just to find out. Well, I took it literally like an alternate ending.
All right.
Of her like saying it's in the bag. And then her just, it's terrible, but just like whipping out a gun and taking out the bridal party. And then her and Paul Rudd like running for their lives. Like on the run. It would totally change and it would all of a sudden turn into some weird Bonnie and Clyde movie.
Right. It would go from Amy Heckerling and then Quentin Tarantino would do the sequel.
Exactly. Exactly. That is what I was thinking. I was like, this like light, cute, wonderful little movie. And then change that and holy shit, there's Clueless too. You know, it would definitely.
But then it would be like Clueless, but then they cross out the clue and it changed to Lawless.
Lawless. Oh my gosh. Clueless and its sequel, Lawless.
Yes.
See, I think that would be incredible. Absolutely definitely. Incredible. Okay. Well, do you want to do trivia?
Let's do it. See how many I can get wrong today.
Okay. Now this one I feel like you should know. Given your field, but maybe not. What does HTML stand for?
Hypertext Markup Language.
Excellent job. Yes, good job. All right. Are we ready? Did it run out of time?
There we go.
Okay. What UK band that was popular in 1995 announced that they were bigger than the Beatles?
Spice Girls?
No, they would never have done that.
Oasis?
Yes.
Okay.
They were the Gallaghers. Oh my God. They were so full of themselves. All right. Ready? You've gotten two.
I know.
Okay. What was the name of the first cloned sheep who was born in 95 and lived for 7 years?
Dolly.
Yes.
Not even going to set the timer.
You're killing it. Okay. President Bill Clinton invokes emergency powers to extend a $20 billion loan to help what country avert financial collapse?
Germany?
No.
England?
No.
Ireland?
No.
Okay. I don't know.
Mexico.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Okay.
Last one. Singer Selena was murdered by the president of her fan club. Where did the murder take place? What city?
Corpus Christi.
Very good. Okay. Well, there you go.
I got 4. I know that because I watched that movie. It was on VH1 the other day while I was cleaning my house.
There we go. I would have remembered because it was a parking garage, right?
A garage or a parking lot?
Oh, no, it was a parking lot.
Of a motel?
Yes, it was a motel parking lot.
And then she locked herself in the motel room.
Yes. Oh, man, I need to watch that movie again. All right, there we go.
All right. Well, now it's time to choose your next movie.
Yes.
And you went, what, 86 to 89? Is that what we...
I believe so. 86 to 89, yeah.
Yes. All right. I'm going to shuffle 3 times and spin this bitch. Your first movie.
Yes.
Is...
Yes.
Say Anything.
Oh, I mean...
Also on your list of 15.
Well, because it's the greatest movie ever made, but continue. Say Anything. Which, by the way, next week I'm going to hear John Cusack speak.
Really?
And get to watch. So there's a screening of High Fidelity that he's going to be at. Mm-hmm. And then we have a Q&A afterwards.
Nice. Okay, the next was Beetlejuice.
Oh, God, that's such a good movie. Okay.
Is anything Beetlejuice or... The Lost Boys.
Oh, crap. You're like...
You got some good ones.
Okay.
And keep in mind, Say Anything's also on your 15. Say
Anything is also on my 15. Lost Boys is not on my 15. Correct?
Right. I don't think it is.
Oh, God. You know, I hate choosing anything besides Say Anything. But I'm going to go with Lost Boys.
All right.
God, I love that movie so much.
I do too.
That's another one watched not too long ago. And damn it, if it's not held up.
I haven't watched it in a while, but when anyone says Lost Boys to me, two scenes that immediately come to mind: saxophone player and the bridge.
Yes. Which happens like one right after the other in this one. My brother actually just went to Santa Cruz. Well, he had to drive through Santa Cruz to get to where they were going. And he was like, I just went over the bridge in Lost Boys, I guess, like right at the entrance of the city, you know, when they're looking. And I was like, tell me you stopped to take a picture. And he didn't. God, I love that movie. Okay, that's what we'll do. Amazing. God, I hope I get Say Anything soon on my 15.
All right. Well, next week, play Misty for me a little. 1970s Clint Eastwood.
Fatal Attraction, apparently.
Fatal Attraction. Yeah, it's according to my friend that I watched it with in college, it was the original Fatal Attraction. I don't remember a whole lot of it, but it does play along those lines. And then 2 weeks from now, a little Lost Boys. So have a great week. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Thanks so much for listening. Please be sure to tell all of your friends about us, especially any fellow Gen Xers.
And don't forget to follow us on social media and your favorite podcast app. And be sure you're set to auto download so you never miss an episode. And while you're there, leave us a 5-star rating.
Don't forget to visit backwherewebelong.com to gain access to our ultimate playlists, pick up some merch, and do a deeper dive into all of our episodes. Thanks again.
We'll see you next week.